The first few steps. You push your chair back after breakfast and pause for a moment before standing. The room is quiet except for the faint hum of the refrigerator. Your coffee cup is still warm. As you straighten your legs, your knees feel a little stiff, and your hips ask for an extra second before they fully cooperate. Then you begin walking across the kitchen. One step, then another. It feels ordinary because it is ordinary. You have done this thousands of times before. Nothing remarkable seems to happen. Your breathing barely changes, your heartbeat feels familiar. If someone were watching, they would see nothing more than a person moving through another ordinary morning. Yet beneath your skin, a conversation has already begun.
Millions of muscle cells have sensed that your body is no longer resting. Tiny power stations called mitochondria are preparing to produce more energy. Blood vessels begin widening almost imperceptibly to deliver extra oxygen. Chemical messengers travel through your bloodstream, carrying instructions from one tissue to another. Even your brain starts receiving signals that movement has begun, adjusting systems that influence attention, mood, and balance before you have reached the other side of the room. You cannot feel any of this. Most people never do. But your cells are listening to every step you take, and they respond with remarkable precision every single time you move. That quiet exchange happens today, just as it happened yesterday, and unless something prevents it, it will happen again tomorrow. The question is whether those invisible conversations are working for your future health or slowly fading from lack of use.
If so much begins changing after only a few steps, what exactly are your cells doing during the next 30 minutes? Why 30 minutes matters. If so much begins changing after only a few steps, why do health experts so often mention 30 minutes? Most people assume they already know the answer. They picture calories being burned, the heart getting stronger, or the leg muscles becoming a little more conditioned with each walk. Those ideas are not wrong. They are simply incomplete, and that difference matters far more than most people realize. Your body does burn energy while you walk. Your circulation does improve. Your muscles do become more resilient over time. But those visible benefits are not the beginning of the story. They are the result of countless microscopic decisions being made inside your cells every second you remain in motion. And here is the part almost nobody talks about. Your cells are not merely responding to movement, they are interpreting it. They treat every step as information, almost like receiving a carefully written message about the environment around you. That message influences how energy is produced, how nutrients are handled, how blood vessels behave, and even how certain genes prepare for future demands. None of this requires an expensive supplement, a sophisticated fitness tracker, or the latest piece of exercise equipment. The machinery responsible for these changes has been inside your body all along, waiting for a signal as ordinary as a purposeful walk down your street or through your neighborhood. Once you understand that signal, walking stops being just another healthy habit. It becomes a biological conversation that quietly shapes your future from the inside out.
Before we explore why your cells respond this way, I need to be honest about something that has made this topic unnecessarily confusing. Walking deserves better than marketing. Before we explore why your cells respond this way, I need to be honest about something that has made this topic unnecessarily confusing. Over the past several years, walking has been transformed into a marketing opportunity. One week, the internet insists that exactly 10,000 steps is the secret to a long life. The next, it is all about staying in a so-called fat-burning zone, buying a new fitness gadget, following a celebrity's morning routine, or copying the latest longevity trend that promises extraordinary results with almost no explanation. I find that kind of advice frustrating, not because walking is unimportant, but because it deserves far better than catchy slogans. When the explanation begins and ends with calories, people are left believing that walking is simply a slower way to exercise. They miss the remarkable biology unfolding beneath every step. The version most people hear is simple: walk to burn calories, walk to lose weight, walk because someone famous said it works. The science tells a much richer story. Long before you burn a meaningful number of calories,
your cells have already begun communicating with one another. Muscles send chemical signals to distant organs. Blood vessels adjust their behavior. Energy-producing structures inside your cells respond almost immediately to changing demands. None of these events depends on a fitness trend. They are built into human biology. That is why this conversation will not focus on miracle routines or viral shortcuts. Whenever possible, we will follow the evidence back to the mechanism itself. If we mention a benefit, we will ask what produced it. If we describe a recommendation, we will examine the biology supporting it. The real science is fascinating enough on its own. It does not need exaggeration, mystical language, or marketing promises to hold your attention. And once you begin seeing walking through that lens, an ordinary morning stroll becomes something entirely different. It becomes a series of microscopic events that quietly influence how your body functions today and how it may function years from now. So instead of beginning with fitness advice, let's begin where every movement actually starts, inside a single cell. Why this channel exists. If understanding your body at this level feels refreshing, then you are exactly the kind of viewer this channel was created for. There are plenty of places to find dramatic headlines and quick health promises. Here, the goal is different. We slow down, follow the evidence, and explore the physiology that explains why everyday habits matter long before we discuss what to do about them. If calm, science-based explanations help you feel more confident about the choices you make for your health, consider staying with us. Every conversation is built around the same idea. Your body is remarkably intelligent, and it deserves to be understood rather than oversimplified. With that foundation in place, we can leave the marketing behind and focus on something far more interesting. The real story begins at a scale too small to see, yet powerful enough to shape your health every single day. Now let's watch what happens inside your body the moment those first muscles begin demanding more energy, the cellular conversation. With that foundation in place, we can finally follow the conversation your body has been having all along. The moment your first muscles begin demanding more energy, an extraordinary chain of events unfolds with remarkable precision. Every step begins with muscle contraction, and muscle contraction requires ATP, short for adenosine triphosphate, the tiny molecule that powers virtually every movement you make. Your body stores only a small amount of ATP at any given moment, enough for just a few seconds of activity. That means it must constantly recycle and replace it. Even during a comfortable walk, billions of ATP molecules are being broken down and rebuilt every minute to keep your muscles moving smoothly. To meet that demand, mitochondria, often called the power plants of the cell, immediately increase energy production. They combine oxygen with nutrients to create fresh ATP more efficiently than they can during complete rest. If your walking pace is brisk enough that you can still talk comfortably but would struggle to sing, your mitochondria receive exactly the kind of challenge they are designed to handle. As ATP is consumed, another remarkable sensor awakens. It is called AMP activated protein kinase, or AMPK. Think of it as your cell's energy monitor. When AMPK detects that fuel is being used faster than it is available, it sends instructions telling the cell to produce energy more efficiently instead of wasting it. Those instructions trigger another important response. GLUT4 transporters, tiny protein carriers normally stored inside muscle cells, begin moving toward the cell surface. Once there, they pull glucose from your bloodstream into the muscle, where it can be used as fuel. Research has shown that a single session of moderate walking can improve glucose handling for hours afterward, while regular activity may improve insulin sensitivity by 20 to 40% in many older adults. The conversation continues beyond the muscles themselves. Within minutes, the lining of your blood vessels releases nitric oxide, a signaling molecule that encourages those vessels to relax and widen. Improved circulation allows oxygen and nutrients to reach working tissues more efficiently, while waste products are carried away more effectively. This response begins within minutes of movement and becomes stronger with consistent activity. Your muscles also release myokines, specialized messenger proteins that travel throughout the body. These chemical signals communicate with the liver, fat tissue, the immune system, and even the brain. reminding us that skeletal muscle is not simply tissue that moves bones. It is one of the body's largest communication organs, making up roughly 30 to 40% of body weight in many healthy older adults. Some of those signals encourage the release of brain-derived neurotrophic factor, or BDNF. You can think of BDNF as fertilizer for the brain. It helps support learning, memory, and the health of connections between nerve cells. Studies suggest that even moderate aerobic exercise can temporarily increase BDNF levels, with larger benefits appearing through repeated activity over weeks and months. Then, something even more remarkable begins. A protein called PGC1-alpha starts activating pathways linked to mitochondrial biogenesis, the process of building more and healthier mitochondria over time. Your walk is no longer responding only to today's energy needs. It is quietly preparing your cells to handle tomorrow's. Health organizations such as the World Health Organization recommend at least 150 minutes of moderate physical activity each week because these signals accumulate. They strengthen with repetition, not perfection. But this is exactly where many well-intentioned people accidentally interrupt the very biology they've just activated. Where good intentions go wrong. But this is exactly where many well-intentioned people accidentally interrupt the very biology they've just activated. The mistake is rarely a lack of effort. More often, it is a misunderstanding of what the body is actually trying to accomplish. Many people treat walking as something to squeeze into the week whenever time allows. Others believe that unless they finish breathless, sweating heavily, or exhausted, the walk was hardly worth taking. Some complete a healthy walk, then spend the next several hours sitting almost completely still, assuming the work is finished. Those choices are understandable. They reflect decades of advice that measured exercise mainly by intensity or calories burned. Your cells measure something different. Each walk reactivates the signaling pathways we just explored. AMPK senses changing energy demands. GLUT4 continues helping muscles absorb glucose. Blood vessels respond to repeated bursts of nitric oxide. Myokines carry messages throughout the body. These systems become stronger through regular stimulation, much like practicing a musical instrument develops skill through repetition rather than occasional marathon sessions. That is why the version most people have heard is that walking is optional exercise, something to check off a list when convenient. The biology tells a different story. Your cells thrive on frequent reminders that movement is a normal part of daily life. Every morning you remain active, those microscopic conversations begin again. Every day they are absent, many of those signals grow quieter. This is not about guilt, and it certainly is not about perfection. You were never careless. You simply were not shown what was happening beneath the surface. Once the invisible mechanisms become visible, even an ordinary walk takes on a completely different meaning. So why have so many of us misunderstood something this fundamental? Walking isn't just walking. So why have so many of us misunderstood something this fundamental? Part of the answer lies in how exercise has been presented for decades. Competitive sports, military training, and fitness culture often celebrated pushing harder, sweating more, and finishing completely exhausted. Those approaches have value in the right setting, but over time, many people came to believe they were the only kinds of exercise capable of improving health. That belief sounds reasonable. It simply does not tell the whole story. The American College of Sports Medicine, the World Health Organization, and researchers at institutions including the Harvard School of Public Health have consistently shown that moderate physical activity is associated with meaningful reductions in the risk of cardiovascular disease, type 2 diabetes, cognitive decline, and premature death. Large prospective studies following hundreds of thousands of adults have repeatedly found that regular walking produces measurable health benefits, especially when it becomes a lasting habit rather than an occasional effort. The important word is regular. Your cells do not keep score by counting how exhausted you feel at the end of a workout. They respond to repeated signals. Every purposeful walk reminds your muscles, blood vessels, mitochondria, and brain that they are expected to stay active. Over months and years, Those reminders accumulate into biological adaptations that no single intense workout can provide by itself.
That does not mean vigorous exercise is bad. For many people, it can be beneficial. It simply means you no longer need to dismiss a comfortable 30-minute walk as just walking. It is repeated communication with your biology, and your body listens every time. Now that the biology makes sense, let's finally talk about how to put it into practice. How to trigger these cellular changes. Now that the biology makes sense, let's finally talk about how to put it into practice. The encouraging news is that you do not need to make your body do anything unnatural. You simply need to give it the opportunity to do what it was designed to do.
Aim for a 30-minute walk at a comfortable but purposeful pace, one where you can carry on a conversation but would find it difficult to sing. Let your arms swing naturally, keep your posture relaxed, and allow your stride to settle into a steady rhythm. If you have been inactive, begin with whatever feels manageable and build gradually. 3 10-minute walks spread throughout the day can stimulate many of the same beneficial pathways as one continuous session. Try to make this a habit 5 days each week. Your cells respond far more consistently to regular movement than they do to occasional bursts of heroic effort. At the end of your walk, spend 2 or 3 minutes slowing your pace before stopping completely, giving your heart and circulation time to return comfortably toward resting levels.
One important note: if you are living with heart failure, uncontrolled hypertension, advanced kidney disease, a recent heart attack or stroke, or severe balance problems, this conversation should continue with your healthcare professional before you begin a new walking routine. That is not meant to discourage you. It is meant to help you find the safest approach for your individual situation, because your health deserves guidance that fits your body. And tomorrow morning, when you take those first few steps again, you'll know something you didn't know today. The same kitchen, different understanding. Tomorrow morning, picture yourself in that same kitchen. The coffee is waiting. The chair slides back. You stand, feel those familiar first movements in your knees and hips, and begin walking across the room. From the outside, nothing looks extraordinary. It is the same routine you have repeated countless times before. The difference is that now you know what your eyes cannot see. You know your muscles are sending messages, your blood vessels are adapting, your mitochondria are responding, and your brain is receiving signals that help prepare it for the future. Every step has become more than movement. It is information your body understands. That simple choice will not happen once. It has the opportunity to happen 365 times every year. Over time, those quiet conversations between your cells become part of the story your body tells about aging, strength, and independence. And if understanding your body helps you care for it more confidently, until next time. And if understanding your body helps you care for it more confidently, then I want to thank you for spending these minutes learning instead of searching for another shortcut. Your health is influenced by thousands of decisions made over years, and those decisions become easier when you understand the biology behind them. There will always be new trends, bold promises, and simple answers to complicated questions. But your body has never worked that way. It responds to consistent signals, thoughtful habits, and the quiet conversations taking place inside your cells every single day. The more you understand those conversations, the more confidently you can make choices that support your future. If this kind of evidence-based explanation is useful to you, consider staying with us. That is exactly what this channel is built around. We explore the science behind everyday health in a way that respects your intelligence, values careful research, and avoids unnecessary fear or exaggeration. Until next time, keep asking good questions, keep moving with purpose, and remember that some of the most meaningful changes in your health begin long before you can ever see them.